subject for today is a very important one and one that is of serious interest to quite a lot of quite a lot of communities, quite a lot of families across the country and even far beyond our space in Nigeria here. Please note that we don't encourage people to interrupt when someone is has a mic. So please ensure that you allow whoever has the mic to be done with his or her contribution, and then we invite you to make your contribution or ask your questions. Let's continue to do this so that we can all enjoy the conversation. Quickly, let's tell you about, remind you again about the NDLA's call center. That's where we provide psychosocial support services to those who may be struggling with substance abuse. Perhaps they don't know how to go about seeking for help. At the NDLA's call center, we have a toll-free helpline where anybody can sit in the comfort of their homes and then call the line, and that is 0800 The number again, the helpline is 0800 10 20 30 40. That's all you need to do. Call the line, and then you have our counselors, our clinical psychologists, psychotherapists, and psychiatric doctors at the other end of the call to speak with you, listen to you with empathy and with utmost confidentiality, take your issue and guide you, see you through recovery. That's what we do. Again, I also like to tell you about the NDLA Drug Integrity Test and Visa e-administration system. That's a latest initiative where we make our services, that's our drug integrity test service and visa clearance service, seamless. We have an online portal where you can simply log on to, and then you have all that you need. All you need to do is to visit the portal, that is drugandvisa.ndla.gov.ng. The next step for you is to click and create an account, fill in your details, phone number, email address, create a strong password, and verify your account using the code sent to your email or phone, that's OTP. And then the next step is for you to complete your profile, provide all the necessary documents, and then there you go. The system itself is interactive, so it can always guide you. And perhaps if you need further clearance on this, there is a dedicated helpline for these services. That's 0700 That's all you need to dial them, and then they would be ready to guide you. But then this new portal helps you to take away all the bottlenecks and then make the service available to you just at the tip of your finger, right in the comfort of your home. You can book an appointment to do your drug integrity test. You can book an appointment at your convenient location nearest to you to do your biometrics, and then there you have it automatically generated. That's your certificate, whether the drug integrity test results certificate and then visa clearance certificate generated automatically via the platform. That's that. Okay. Let's come to our presentation now. We have at least I have seen one of our guests. That's okay. Wait, like I said, we have two guests this week to discuss our subject for today, that is substance abuse among married women and singles, causes, consequences, and the cure. We have two guests to discuss this or to lead discussions on this today, and Dr. Dokun Adedeji. Dr. Dokun Adedeji is the founder and chief executive officer of Compassionate Care Recovery Initiative, that's CCRI Lagos. And then we have Ibukun Oluwa Oteshile, who is also the founder and chief executive officer of Oakcrest Wellness Clinic Ibadan. I believe we need to take, let's listen to the woman first so that, because this has to do with women, and then let's get the voice of a woman first. Let's let her open the conversation, and then we have Dr. Dokun Adedeji later. So let me introduce to us formally. Ibukunoluwa Otesile is a licensed counseling psychologist, social impact strategist, and the chief executive officer, like I said, Hope Crest Wellness Clinic, a mental health and performance optimization practice dedicated to helping individuals and organizations change, heal, and thrive. Ibukolwa holds professional certifications in psychological first aid and global mental health from Johns Hopkins University and the University of Washington, respectively. She is a fellow of the Shattered Institute in the form. She has spearheaded numerous psychosocial interventions, advocacy Ibukunoluwa wrote the book The Cost of Silence, a thought-provoking children's literature that explores the connections between substance use, domestic violence, and sexual abuse, encouraging early conversations about empathy, protection, and resilience. Driven by empathy and purpose, Ibukunoluwa continues to champion mental well-being, drug use prevention, and transformative rehabilitation efforts across Nigeria and beyond. Please join me in welcoming Ibukunoluwa Otesile as we invite her to unmute herself now while we listen to her. Spend the next 20 minutes thereabout to discuss our topic for today, that substance abuse among married women and singles, causes, consequences, and the cure. It's our pleasure to have you, Lady Ibukunoluwa. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Babafemi. It's always a pleasure and thank you for the work that you're doing and the innovation that you're bringing into ensuring that Nigeria is free of substance abuse or is free of abuse. I'm so excited that we're having this conversation today around married women and singles involved in the conversation around substance abuse. Because the truth about it is, women involvement or women use of substance is under discussed. And it is because it is many times marked by shame, by social expectations and double standards. What comes to your mind most times when you talk about substance abuse is, oh, it has to be the male gender, it has to be the man, it has to be boys. Yes, statistics to back that up. But the reality facing us now is that we have many women, married women, single women, young girls that are today caught in the web of substance abuse. And it's important that we continue to have this conversation. And I think it's also timely because, October is a month where we celebrate the International Day of the Girl Child. And so if we can start these conversations actively, then we can ensure that as our girls go and we go into women, they are safe, their mothers are safe, their aunties are safe, and we have a community that is safe and drug-free. Now, so let's quickly go into this conversation because we don't have more time, and I really would like that we have an opportunity to interact. So I will just try and summarize what I have to say as briefly as I can. Now, it's important that I stress the fact that substance use among women is not just a moral issue; it is a mental health and also a socio-economic issue. It's an emotional issue, it's a mental health issue, and it's one that is very, very important that we spotlight even at this time. Now, when you look deep, or you X-ray substance abuse or use by women, you will find stress, you will find isolation, you will find abuse, you will find unaddressed trauma as triggers that predispose women to substance abuse. Now, let's break down some of the causes and risk factors. The first I like to talk about is emotional and psychological triggers. Why would you find a woman, whether married or single, abusing drugs, whatever type of drugs that she's abusing? You will find underlying chronic stress. You will find depression. Another one that I want to talk about that many people ignore is postpartum depression or postpartum, what we sometimes call postpartum blues. Now, and this is the experience that women have post-delivery as a result of traumatic pregnancy, labor, and delivery, or the pressure and stress of delivering itself, or the pressure and stress that comes with pregnancy, or that comes with motherhood. So you can have postpartum depression as one of the triggers or one of the factors that predispose women, married, single, to substance abuse or substance use. Anxiety is another very, very important one. Now, aside that, you have unresolved trauma. Now, these trauma can come from domestic abuse. While Mr. Babafemi was introducing me, he mentioned about the cost of silence. That book is a book based on research that connects domestic abuse, that connects substance abuse, sexual abuse with substance abuse. And so we have seen that unresolved trauma arising from domestic violence, arising from sexual abuse, can also become emotional and psychological triggers that can cause our women, married, single, to get caught in the web of substance abuse. You will find that sometimes it is just sheer self-medication, just to escape, certain emotional pain. And when it is not regulated, then, it's like it's a free flow. You just find that they felt long, they then get to abuse, and then they are totally caught in the web. Then we have what we call societal and cultural pressures that women have to deal with. So there is a lot of unrealistic expectations of women. You are expected to be the strong wife, you're expected to be perfect mother, you're expected to be fearless, to be of high moral standard. So there is also the burden of expectations, unrealistic expectations sometimes that women have to deal with. Now, social isolation and stigma around health makes it difficult for women to even come out and talk that, okay, I'm going through this. You're expected for women that are married, irrespective of the challenges of the marriage, you're expected to just, suffer like suffering and smiling. You're expected to suffer and smile. In fact, in some cultures, the strength of a woman is measured by the amount of pain that she's able to bear. And so these unrealistic expectations sometimes also place undue pressure on women and predispose them, maybe the best word to use, predispose them to substance abuse, of course. And the third one for me becomes environmental and relational factors. Environment, access to drugs, access to substance, those are things that can also predispose our girls, our women to the use. Now, the social media is now so small, as in shrunk the world into such a small space that there's cross fertilization of ideas, the good ideas and also the bad ideas. So environment also plays a significant role in the increase in the number that we're seeing now when we talk about our women, our girls, and substance abuse as well. Now, how does it affect us, or why is it even important to have this conversation? Why is Mr. Babafemi, bringing this conversation this afternoon? Why should you know? Why is it important to you? Why is it important to me? Now, there are impacts of substance use among married women and singles that affects the individual itself, that affects the family, that affects the society, and of course affects all of us. So quickly, let's take it. First is the person involved, the woman, the young lady, the young girl that is involved. Now you have physical and psychological dependence. Now, of course, when addiction comes in, ordinarily would do. So it impairs on development, it impairs on productivity in place of work. That when you find that there's a decline in productivity, decline in self worth, decline in their overall well being. Their self concept is then affected. You then, translate it, or you then advance to sleep and mood disorders, anxiety, and sometimes suicidal tendencies. I've had to deal with one about in the recent times, two cases um, of suicidal ideation, and you trace it back. When we traced it back, of course, we traced it back to substance abuse, traced it back to abuse, sexual abuse, particularly for this young girl. So you find that the person begins to experience depression, begins to experience suicidal ideation, sleep disorder, productivity. The ensure that the violence does not continue.
All right, I guess IBK has an issue with her network there. That's pushed her off the speaker's corner to the listeners table there. Thank you very much, IBK. I guess as soon as she's back, we can provide her the opportunity to land with her thoughts successfully so that she can conclude her presentation. I guess we may have to take Dr. Dokun next. We're not seeing Dr. Dokun on the space, but I'm told he's on the space, so we will have to get him on the space on behalf of my colleague. But then let me quickly formally introduce Dr. Dokun, and then we'll listen to him via the handle of one of my colleagues here so that we can, and if perhaps IBK comes back before then we can also allow her to land with her thoughts on her presentation. Okay, Dr. Dokun Adedeji is a distinguished medical doctor, a prolific writer, poet, transformational public speaker, and deeply committed advocate for societal well-being. As the Chief Executive Officer of the Compassionate Care Recovery Initiative, that's CCRI, a leading NGO specializing in the treatment and rehabilitation of individuals with substance use disorders, Dr. Adedeji has made a profound impact in the humanitarian sector with a keen understanding of the human mind and with a keen understanding of the human mind and an unwavering passion for transformative change, Dr. Adedeji has dedicated his career to empowering individuals and fostering hope. Prior to leading CCRI, he served as Director General of CADAM. I believe the full meaning of CADAM is Christ Against Drug Abuse Ministry. Yeah, that's an arm of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, a faith-based NGO providing treatment and rehabilitation services for drug addiction, where his leadership spanned an impressive 31 years. Wow, awesome. Dr. Adedeji is a valued member of the Special Purpose Committee of the Chairmanship Executive Officer of NDLA, an advisory body championing progressive drug policy and intervention initiatives in Nigeria. Dr. Adedeji earned his medical degree from the prestigious University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, and his professional experience spans diverse sectors, including healthcare, corporate management, and human resource development. His career highlights include Senior Medical Officer at First Foundation Medical Center, Lagos, Company Medical Advisor, and later Head of Human Resources at Cadbury Nigeria PLC, where he earned the prestigious Global Chairman's Award for Employee Involvement in the Community in 2002. Dr. Adedeji voluntarily retired from Cadbury in 2010 and has since consulted extensively for corporate organizations and government bodies, including as a consultant to the federal government's SURE-P program. Dr. Adedeji is a member of Ikoyi Club 1938 and continues to influence various spheres through his leadership, mentorship, and advocacy efforts. I believe Dr. Adedeji is ready to speak on behalf of Francis now. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Dokun Adedeji as I invite him to unmute himself and make his presentation. Thank you very much, Doc. Unfortunately, we can't see you, and I'm aware you are on the space. Something must be wrong with you.
Yes.
Yeah, but then we still find a way to beat the system to get you on the space. Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Femi and everyone. My apologies that I couldn't just join, and I thank Franco for just putting me on. Honestly, I hope you all can hear me.
We are hearing you loud and clear, sir.
Hello?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Femi, let me start like, okay, thank you. Let me join my congratulations to that of Mrs. Oteshile about the work you are doing in particular, because this has gone a long way to increase the awareness of our people. And I know with the initiatives that are bringing out day by day, we will get better and better. Let me leave it at that. And I must thank Mr. Teshide for an excellent presentation. I find it very difficult to add anything, just a few tidbits here that I add. And I am glad that actually you took the initiative to call the lady first, because she's the woman, she knows where it pinches and she knows what to say. And she has adequately expressed it. Honestly, as society, there are fundamental things for me that I think we need to deal with. And that is what this kind of space is helping us to do. You know, because of the kind of society we run, a familiar society, everything is about a man, the woman is neglected, put to the background. And it finally makes it extremely difficult for women to own up. I mean, I say to people, we have a society in which there are male, there are females. And so what do you think will happen if something is happening in the men folk, you think will not happen to the women? Sometimes indirectly affects their lives if the husband uses. Eventually, some of them they use. And Mr. David has made a lot of points about how these things come about. Let me just touch a few things. I mean, I remember when we were in the meeting there clearly, we found that in the north, how many women can go out and own up to using drugs? Even in the south, that is thought to be cosmopolitan. How many women can raise up their hands and say, I have a drug problem, I want to go and do a drug test? And they will be wondering, well, even if the woman drinks, she's looked at differently from the man who drinks. So as a society, we need to change, and this is the way I think we can. Raising the awareness, letting people understand that sexual abuse respects no one, whether you're a woman, a female, or you're married, or whatever, you're a professor or a pastor. I mean, I've come across a lot of people in different categories of life who use substances. So we need to change that paradigm.
Yeah, how did we lose you there, Francis?
Okay, talk is the acting now. Okay, yeah. And then so that's the graduation of it. If you can start a young, the single guy is a young girl that becomes a single girl. Today has been a tough day for mine. Okay. I hope you can hear me now. It looks like the network is fluctuating.
Yeah, but you are back now. You are back now. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, you are back now.
Okay. You see, the thing that we okay, thank you very much. Yeah. You see, I've spoken about profiling. How we profile people. If you want to use this drug, then it will be a wayward person. Initially, was when a man uses this drug, they say the multiple board. Now we know that any category of man can use drugs. Now we shifted that profiling to women. Oh, she must be going for fun. And I said to people, there is no one who cannot use drugs. Anytime, and I said to people, the first use is never voluntary. It is subsequent use that you can say the person now decides to be using drugs. Because if they start your drink, particularly which is common with women, you trust someone, you go to a party, they spike your drink, you don't know the plans of the people spike it, they give you chocolate, they give you cookies and all those things. And these are things that women get into. So unless we begin to raise the awareness of the severity of the drug situation in our country, and how we need to tackle it irrespective of gender. Gender has no relation with the management of substance use. Let me also give an example. That's a root. And there's one in particular that I know I want to interrogate about domestic abuse. I think what I believe, which I've been shouting about, is that our religious bodies should have a better knowledge of substance abuse than we have to. Because the church is a safe space where people can go to and say, look, I have a problem. Because I believe the church to be a spiritual hospital where everybody can come and say, look, I have an issue. But I doubt if any church could accommodate a woman, particularly whether single or married, that says I'm using drugs. The next thing is to be stopping for preaching. And if we don't understand that anyone can get into this and then we will offer them support, we'll be injuring them. The other area which I think the church must wake up to its responsibility. A woman is suffering domestic violence and she's suffering domestic violence. Oh, you say, no, the Bible does not support you to leave your husband. I'm a Christian, but I'm not a pastor. So I don't understand that dimension. Because I don't know how many pastors can have their own daughters in a marriage or their sisters in marriage, they are being violently attacked and they say stay in the marriage. I think we need to begin to reconsider and understand the dynamics of each person's marriage before we offer subject. I remember many years ago, Pastor's wife told me something that I would never forget. She said there was a lady that was being domestically abused by the husband, and the pressure I go the Bible, so she stayed. And the man beat the woman to death. And so the pastor said, so what am I going to say before God if I allow someone to commit suicide if I don't have. So I'm not saying, please, it's important for Christians to understand. Because before we twist it, I want Christians to say they can be living their wedding. I'm not saying so. But I'm saying it is much better for us to understand the dynamics of each person's wedding, the circumstances of the marriage, and then we deal with it. Because I will not let my daughter, I will not let my sister stay in a marriage that is being domestically abused, and that is my own. I'll take her away. I'd rather have her back and root than have her dead in the coffin box. So it's important we begin to understand that, and not particularly in these days, where there's so much violence. And then so we need to understand that. Another example is a family, let's say a man has so many girls, and then he begins to abuse his wife. Oh, you're only giving me girls, you're only giving me girls. And he marries another person and they have girls. You see, people forget that the determination of gender does not reside in the woman's genes. It resides in the man's. It's also ignorance. But one thing that pains me, and I'm getting suggestion there, and I want her to address it later. One thing that pains me, the emasculation of women in a family, in a marriage, is even championed by women. If a woman gets married and she's not quick to get pregnant, the people that begin to shout at the women in the family, they're also going to present another woman to the man. So even as we speak, we can say, oh, men are profiling women. Women are profiling women. And if we don't also tackle it, that all these two consumers, that's an area I want us to look at as we go into this. But the other issue, which you also mentioned, which is extremely critical, is the issue of family. The family today is suffering a lot of dysfunction. When you look at the society and you worry about some signs that is a or worry about the thing to see, it starts from the home. And then we do not try as much as possible to put the home together and then let there be stability of the kind of it will begin to register the lives of these children. But one thing that I also say is this, which is fundamental, and I think it's essentially can attest to it. When young people come to me, I ask them, what do you discuss with your boyfriend before you marry? The abuse you see in marriage did not happen in marriage. It started from courting. And so why is a woman willing to suffer in order to get married, in order to be called a missus? Why should she? At the very beginning when the relationship starts, is when she begins to look at the man, begin to understand the kind of person he is, and when he's not going to want, don't force yourself into a relationship, and then later you say that domestic abuse. I think that's an area parents also must be involved. Do not manage weddings for your children because you want to belong to the society. I'm saying all this because this education has spoken largely about the causes, and also I'm just taking the periphery as a man of what I see. But the larger thing that we should look at today is the society. What kind of culture are we promoting? What kind of society are we building? A society in Nigeria today that is completely valueless. Everything that matters is money And so we really do not care anymore about the fundamentals of family and the fundamentals of how a system should run. So what we are beginning to see today is a matter of everybody getting rich. I said to Fabian Jeremiah one time, I said, is it not worrying that every Sunday we are now, the people we catch at the airport, people are saying trafficking. Why are they saying trafficking? It is element of greed. I know the corruption in the system. And if those things are not tackled, we will continue to go in circles. Every day, all kinds of drugs are introduced into our country. And this is available. A young girl who is depressed, who is worried, who cannot live, who is every day, and somebody says that you can't make it. I can't see you making it. Look at your brother, look at your sister. Why do you think you get respite? If we don't begin to repair the walls of those things, then we are running into trouble. One last thing I want to mention is the matter of ill health of individuals. I've seen a lot of sickle cell sufferers who now are getting addicted to or get addicted to drugs. And why is that happening? Apart from the stigma of their ill health, they get stigmatized at home. So they are causing us a lot of problems. And we are spending money too much on you. I think she brought herself into the world. I think she was the one who visited herself with sickle cell disease. You know, I think one of the things we should begin to tackle out of ignorance, whether whether about substance use or whatever. Well, what is the final thing that I want to say? Because I know, I mean, there's hardly much I can add to what Mr. Tessie has said in terms of consequence. But we must remember the consequence is the age. The society will continue to suffer. A woman who is substance addicted will get married, might get married, will have children. She can't take care of the children. The children begin to live on the street, then it begins to get escalated. And then we are multiplying the number of people in the substance use. So, what am I saying? I think the area we need to start, and which I think the engineer has taken it up by all this kind of initiative, is the issue of family. But again, the NGLA cannot really do anything about family. They can only propagate the tenets and the ethics of family. Especially so, the religious body should be invested with that responsibility. Why do I say so? They see a lot more people on a regular basis than the doctor, than the school, than whatever. And if the person themselves have a grip and an understanding of substance use, it will go a long way to help. And then we can begin to allow people to self-report. And when they self-report, there's no element of stigma or discrimination because they can understand. If Mrs. Ancestry is going to come back and talk, she probably will say, how many women would voluntarily come to a center for rehabilitation? Very few. Is it that they're not suffering from it? They are. But who will they care? Who will stay with them? When the women stay with the husband who do substance abuse, how many men will stay with their wives who are addicted to drugs? You don't even understand it. You don't consider it as a negative. So, you see, the thing is, I'm glad that we're discussing it because the women suffer more than the men. I mean, from the statistics, we know like a quarter, let's say 25% of people who do drugs are women. You will have 4 drug users. One is a woman. And then, but you must know that the statistics are beginning to change. And the availability of these drugs and the opportunity, accessibility is making it available for everyone. So I think in consequence of this, yeah, we can do. And one thing that I also like to say is, when we say, oh, we talk about it, are we going to keep talking about this thing? Is this something that is seasonal? Is this something that is topic only for a time? Right? Or one drugs day, of the women, and all, we shouldn't be. It should be something that we learn on a daily. I don't only about talking, we advocate, we defend it, we let people know, we get other people involved. Particularly, I hope we can get the women in the media to get involved. When the women in the media can get involved, and then they can also be examples of some women who can talk about whether you block their Facebook or not, I think we'll begin to get some results. I thank you, Femi, for this initiative, and I think it's a very composite expose of what he has said. I can only add those bits of it because he has actually said everything, and I'm glad that we put this space together. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much there. Dr. Dokun Adedeji is the founder, chief executive officer of Compassionate Care Recovery Initiative, CCRI, based in Lagos. Okay, now thank you there. Okay, before we throw the platform open, let's invite Mrs. Ibukun Oluwateshile to conclude her presentation. IBK, as we fondly call her, let's hear from you.
Thank you very much, Femi. Thank you, Doctor, for that part that you added, the value system that has been eroded, badly eroded, which is also very important. And you've also raised a question that how many times more are we going to have these conversations? What will change? And if that what will change, that is what I want to use as my wrap up. I think that we must also spotlight parenting education. It's very, very important that we have these conversations about how to parent. Now, it's not just because of the children they want to parent. Because the truth about it is, if you have children that are delinquent or defiant, you will be stressed as a parent, you'll be stressed as a mother, and you will then begin to look for recourse or look for alternatives or how to, cope with the stress. So it's also very important that we give attention to parenting education. I like that you talked about the media, and that's what I would have ended with. The media is very, very key. We must have women come and have conversation. Now, lastly, I like to say this. We cannot remove the impact of entertainment. Music is very important. A doctor will bear me witness that there are two gates to the mind: the eyes and the ears. What we hear, what we see, have a way of entering our mind and shape what we think, our disposition and our behavior at the end of the day. The musical content, we must also engage people in the entertainment space in terms of the kinds of content that is released into the space. The songs that we listen to have a way of entering our minds and determine how we behave per time. So if there's anything added that we must do, is to begin to bring in the musicians, the actors, the actresses, the content creators, and bring them into this space to begin to have conversations around women, the impact of women getting caught in the web of substance abuse. If we also bring that into all that we have been doing, I believe that we will get more results. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Femi, and well done on all that you're doing. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much there, Mrs. Oluwateshile, for your presentation, for your thoughts on this issue, and thank you also, Dr. Dokun Adedeji. Before we invite people to make their contributions or ask their questions from this two, I hope Dr. Dokun is still live on your hand, Francis, because questions will come. But before we get to that, let's quickly acknowledge some of our compatriots on the space joining us from far and wide. We'll have here Professor Rosemary Ogu. Professor Rosemary Ogu is the National President of Medical Women's Association of Nigeria. Thank you very much, Professor Rosemary. We have Fatima Adamu Sani, thank you. Laolua Oteshile, thank you. We have Dr. Jonah Kolo, as Dr. Jonah is a senior officer of the agency. We have Sadatu Mohammed Hamangari, thank you, Sadatu. We have Isaiah Shimogu, Abdul Salam Babangida Yaradua, thank you. We have Dr. Kemi Oluloyo, Dr. Kemi Oluloyo, thank you. We have Chris, we have Alabi Ufma Abiodun, Lakmat Olowo, the Simed Hospital Limited, Emmanuel Eke, Emmanuel is a pharmacist, Obi Adaobi, Dr. James Komolafe. Dr. James Komolafe is the registrar and chief executive officer of Institute of Behavioral Alignment of Nigeria, Alban. Thank you, Dr. James. We have Olani Olumayowa, we have Kevin Bose, we have Victoria Ochechi, Shidi Undoku, that's our officer, a senior officer of the agency. We have Mohammed Bafo, we have Funsho Jimo, Euphemia Asma Ahmad, Babatunde Imole Abubakar B. Hassan, Khalifa Sidi Bamali, Make Sense News, Harif, Emmanuel Ande, OA Tobeshuku, Yansho Eledumare, Pascal Ewegu, Edward Oluyemisi, Street Boss Politicking, Michael Famous, Yinka Olubiyi, Official South, Lenzi Mubarak, Wakili, that's at Adamu Mohammed. I can't, I'll take a pause here and then we'll continue with the recognition later if we have the space. We also like to appreciate and acknowledge all our compatriots joining us via this Facebook page and those joining us via our YouTube channel. Thank you very much, everyone. Now, let's, if you'd like to contribute, ask questions, or make interventions, please, this is the time for you to move over to the speaker's corner. All you need to do is to click on your mic and then make a request, and then we'll approve that. We'll get you one after the other, apart from reading some of the questions already in our DM. Okay, but let's invite Dr. Kemi Komolafe to, as another woman in the house, let's hear her thoughts before we come to Dr. James Komolafe. Dr. Kemi, please go ahead with your intervention. Dr. Kemi, can you hear me?
You call me Dr. Kemi Komolafe. You've married me to Dr. Komolafe.
Dr. James, please, I'm talking about, I mean, Dr. Kemi Olu lawyer.
You said Dr. Kemi Komolafe. Dr. Komolafe, it's about to say, I've been saying that for 1 month. We actually have to talk tonight.
I hope you redeem that place today.
We actually have to talk tonight, me and him. We have that thing, but you don't say. Well, first of all, Dr. Dokun is always on point. Really good presentation. I was listening from something else, from another device, and Madam Ibukola did the job, and I'm really glad you're in my hometown, Ibadan. I left Ibadan in 2019. There is a problem in Ibadan. People are always calling me about it. It's a very high rate of loud and all these recreational drugs. Kids in Ibadan think that recreation is okay for drugs. It's not. I only have one question for both of them. I'll ask that question, and it's a personal question for me, and then I want you to actually answer it for me, Dr. Dokun, in your own point of view, and also Madam Ibukun. So let me ask the question. It's very short. Personally, a lot of you have heard about what I went through when my father passed away. A lot of people discovered that I lived a lot of childhood trauma. I grew up into that childhood trauma into my adulthood. I told my story in 75 videos. They're on TikTok. Kemi Talks Live. You can go listen, watch it. We have to share our life's problem. I went through everything. Raising an autistic son who was extremely violent, was domestic violence for me. You know, beaten up by my sister, and she was arrested by the police in Ibadan, was domestic violence for me. And also living with the trauma with the family in general. My question to you, Dr. Dokun and Madam Ibukun, all these things I went through, everybody, at least 2.5 million of my followers, if I add all my followers in every platform, 2.5 people ask me this question. And they always say something first when they read the stories. They go, God, you're a strong woman. But the fact is that everybody says it. I'm not actually strong. I'm not strong. When they say you're a strong woman, what made me survive all this trauma? To the point that, you know, I did not go for one single bottle of alcohol. I did not go for one drug. I had access to drugs in the pharmacy. I did not say, let me steal some tramadol. Let me steal some codeine. I did not go on the streets to the open air drug markets to buy. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ tí mi ò lọ sí drugs láti pacify me from extreme domestic violence in my entire life and all the trauma I went through? In other words, let me translate that to English. What is that factor that did not make me turn to drugs? Because, of course, you guys know a famous couple was in the news this week about alleged domestic violence, and the wife went to drugs. Some people don't go to drugs. Some people don't go to substances. Some people don't go to alcohol.
I've never used drugs in my life. I've never smoked marijuana. I've never used prescription drug abuse. I've never tried cocaine, crack, ice, all this stuff. Even though this is the reason why I always stress to Nigerians to stop using drug addiction as a joke. Oh, Kemi Olunloyo, your stupid opinion. She's a drug addict. She's this. It's serious. There are people fighting drug demons. I'm not a drug addict. I've never used drugs. Alcohol once in 2 years. If I go to a party or we're celebrating something.
Just raised an issue that Mrs. Otechme had raised about mental health. You see, there's something that I found out, and I'm glad though that people are beginning to wake up to the reality of mental health. You know, people, I said something to people, without mental health, there is no health. We may be okay, but that is a major issue. The childhood trauma you're talking about. You know, I tell people that when people come in for substance, that the only thing we see is the substance that, oh, this person is using drug. We do not understand that the use of drug is sitting on pillars that we need to destroy. If you put the person in rehab without destroying the pillar, the person will go back and pick it up because the person is going to return to the positive factor. People believe that what do they have to complain about? What problem do they have? And they will pay school fees. It just eats at home. It's not true. We need to begin to understand that as a human person, each person has something to deal with. It must be coming to parents now and teachers and pastors to listen, not just to hear, but listen to what even is not said. If a young girl comes to you with a matter, she's not likely to talk about childhood trauma in the presence of the mother, because the mother will look at her and then she goes home again to face another trauma. We need to come with complete understanding of the human person and then we begin to approach it. But if I may answer your question, Kemi, there are certain things we do not know because the human person is made of the soul, the mind, and the spirit. I am telling you there's something called grace. Only God supplies it. For not succumbing or taking drugs is not because you are stronger than anyone who took drugs. But you see, when there is grace, it's like God understanding where He's taking you, the purpose for which He's going to use you. So He needs to prepare you to do that. I don't know, you may not, even grace is not about religion, it's about God's favor. Who decides that this is the person He chose to Moses? He said, I will show mercy to whom I will show mercy. I will show compassion to whom I will show compassion. So it's God's prerogative. So we're not going into drugs. The one thing is, people may not see you going to drugs, but you don't understand other things you are going through in your life that is not an addiction, but it's something that torments your soul. So each person has an issue. And the only thing that I think we need to become now, we need to become more human and humane. Instead of judging people, let us understand where they're coming from. Let us understand what we need to do. If you can't help them, send them to somebody who can help them. Don't judge them, do add to the knowledge they are carrying. That would be my approach to it.
All right, thank you very much, there, Dr. Dokun. Thank God Mrs. Bokun Oteshile is back. Let's have your take, your response. Dr. Kemi actually addressed the question to both of you. That's to you and Dr. Dokun. Dr. Dokun had given his own contribution. Let's have that of Abike. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I got logged out. So where I heard was to the point where she said the question that are 2-point-something million followers on all the platforms.
Madam Ibuku, sorry to let me just say it briefly. Basically, I just wanted to know both of your opinions on why some people don't go to drugs. That I lived a very traumatic life. I actually detailed in several videos on social media. What is it that doesn't make people like me just turn to alcohol and then smoke and gateway drugs and cocaine and everything to deal with my stress? What is it that makes people don't go to drugs? Dr. Doku had a real fantastic explanation. So now we need yours.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ma. So for me, a couple of things could be responsible. People are different. Personalities are different. The exposures that we have as we grow up as children, what we see also influence the kind of adults that we are and how we respond to the things that happen to us. So even though some of those things that happen to us or that we pick around us, we pick it from in our subconscious, we're not aware that we have taken such positions until life then makes demand for those days. Another person will have an injury and the body will heal up by itself in 2 days. And then another person will have that same injury and we will take some intervention for that person or for that skin to be able to heal up. So we are different. Our personalities are different. And our personalities significantly impact on how we respond to things that happen to us, with or without support and intervention. So that's one thing. I heard the part of the tail end of Doctor's conversation, Dr. Doku's conversation, where he talks about the fact that there's also a purpose for all the things that happen to us. And so I won't dwell on it because you really can't give what you don't have. So for me, significantly, I would say that whilst you were growing up, even though in that space you were exposed to that traumatic experience, you also were exposed to how to respond to things without being aware that you were, you were forming an opinion or perception around those things. It could have been from what you saw or what you read, maybe not even in the nuclear family in itself, but somewhere around you had picked some of those things that then helped the person that you have grown into. Plus, your personality in itself is a very significant factor.
Okay, I guess we're having. Okay, Abike, can you hear us?
Did you hear me? Yes, I have been talking.
No, we lost you at a point. Yeah, I think
She's cutting in and out, but what you said is a good answer.
Yeah,
everybody's personality is different, and I thank God for my life. That's all I can say.
Okay.
Okay, Abike, can you hear us? Okay, she's out again. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for.
The network is not very stable. I hope you got my my presentation or my submission.
Yeah, we got up to the point, but we didn't get your conclusion.
Oh my God. Okay, so wrap up of it is, I just said the personality is significant and the things that we're exposed to. We learn differently. Children don't pick things without not even knowing. So even though you were exposed to these trauma as a child, you were also subconsciously exposed to how to respond to different issues. And somehow that impacted on, what you had built, your ability to self-regulate, your emotional strength. That also contributed to it. I'm sure that if you sit down really and go back in time retrospect, you will be able to identify some of the exposures or some of the things, conversations, or, it might just be simple interactions that you had growing up that also shaped your disposition. Now, when people go through trauma, there are two things. There's always two ends to it. You have one set of people that will pick the negative as the response. And then you have another set of people that will, despite the negative, choose the positive in it. I'll cite an example. So a child is growing up in a house where the father always beats his mother. That child, you find that some children will go from that place and also beat their wives. And there will be some children that will grow up from that house and say, I don't want to be the kind of father that my father was. And they will turn out, differently. So that's one thing that I think that might be have played out for you. I hope I have responded and been able to conclude without interruption this time.
Yeah, you successfully did that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very good.
Dr. Kemi, they say your network is not good in Ibadan.
What do you mean? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Just trying to
I
drag.
said he gave a very, very
Just trying
good answer because that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah. Just trying to drag you a little. Just trying to drag you a little. At least if I don't see your
the
phone.
answer was very good because at the time I was being abused by my ex-fiance, my son was autistic and he was also attacking me from his autism. So he was also seeing that abuse from the father. So it was crazy. That was just the time some people would go right to drugs and then leave. But we just left. That's all it was. I didn't want my sons to see that again. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. Then let's take the next intervention from Dr. James Komolafe. Dr. James Komolafe is the Registrar Chief Executive Officer of Institute of Behavioral Alignment of Nigeria. Dr. James, let's say I almost married Dr. Kemi off to you initially, but thank God we have to quickly sort that out. Yes, Dr. James, go ahead. You are muted. I hope you are not struggling with your own network as well. Okay, if Dr. James is, let me quickly dive into our DMR. Okay, our DSSC, okay. Okay, let's take Dr. James. We can't hear you, so I would like to take some questions from our DM quickly. We have barely 30 minutes left. This is coming from Bolua. Bolua. Okay, it's I almost said the Bukonwa, but this one is Bolua. Dr. James, as soon as you can, your network is stable, just unmute and let me know. If I can hear you from this end, and then I'll yield the mic to you. For pending, then let's get into to take some questions. In our DM, Bolua is asking, commending both speakers. Are there gender-sensitive treatment approaches that better address women's unique needs in recovery? Okay, let's have that. Avia Bolua is asking, are there gender-sensitive treatment approaches that better address women's unique needs in recovery? Okay, anybody can speak, Dr. Dokun or BK. Please, let's have Dr. Dokun first.
Okay, thank you, friend. Thank you, Bolua. You see, there's something that I think we need to begin to do in the management of people. It must be individual specific. Even if you say gender, that is a categorization, is generalization. Even within that gender, there are specificities of each occurrences that we need to tackle as individuals. But on a general basis, there may be a general concept. But when we do the interviews with each client, you will begin to give us an inkling of how to tackle words. You cannot use one size fits all. But again, you also must understand that certain ladies that come into rehab that are also HIV positive or have one thing or the other, you need to cater to that separately from somebody generally okay. So my approach to it is this. I also say, if you are going to have a center, I think we need to begin to have centers in which women would do women and then men would do men. Because it's easier for a woman. I'm not saying totally, but the women can also have men because there are certain cases sometimes when women prefer to speak very privately to somebody who is understanding who is of a gender. So it's about understanding. You know, when we come into managing rehabilitation or treatment of people, how much of empathy do we throw into it? Are we doing it because we are
However, deepen your knowledge in yourself to always operate in your good order all of the time. Now, my little contribution subject matter today is that we should try and be our brother's keeper, our neighbor's keeper. Resorting to drugs and substance abuse just because you have a situation may never solve no problem. Emotion is such a force that you see, no matter what you give to it, especially when you are beginning to give negative utterance to it, is going to backfire. You don't do any quick fix that will convolute a matter for you, contaminate you, and expose you to so many other dangers. Okay, sorry. You know, I was in and out of network. So, sorry. This thank you very much.
No problem, sir.
All right, thank you very much. I actually laid the foundation for that by first
Yeah,
calling Dr. Kemi as Dr. Kemi
I was going to find out when she did change of name.
So I believe you
I talked about isolation, and then loneliness is a critical part in that space. And then I also talked about the importance of support, support for women at community level, having care groups where women are supported. So we mentioned it. It's very, very important. One of the triggers for that is loneliness. Loneliness in itself can alter
And people forget that a man can fall under pressure. A woman too can fall under pressure even much more easily because who is she going to talk to? Who is she going to ask for help? And then the opportunity that are offered to other people, we are pushing them to stay the way they look for a palliative. And that palliative of support may be substance use. That would be my contribution.
All right, let's IBK. Any contribution? No. What he's saying is why the first, that's polygamy, getting treatments sometimes can also be hampered as a result of religion because not many of these women can come out to seek help without the fear of stigmatization or even to come out and walk into a treatment center without the fear of being judged because of the perception
it shouldn't be leveraged only to the government alone. Now, bodies and every stakeholders must at least understood what drug abuse and what drug abuse is all about. If that could be done, hopefully or definitely, we would definitely understand that there will be a lot of cops on drug abuse cases. Uh, on the NGO, there are a lot of NGOs in Nigeria. What I have found out
of this, either live on X space here or on via our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for sticking with us and being a part of this conversation today. Let's not just end it here. At the end of it all today, just immediately after we close the curtain, please let's also share the links. It's a recorded conversation, so you can share to those that your friends, your family members, your colleagues that are not part of. Okay, me come on. Okay, okay. All right. We'd also like to appreciate Dr. James Komolafe. Thank you for your insights, for your contribution, and everyone that have been a part of this all across the platforms. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, those are requesting for Mike now. It's past the hour. We may not be able to entertain that. Next week is another time. We would definitely continue to expand the frontier of this conversation so that we can continue to share facts and information that will benefit a larger part of our society.